If I'm audible and I'm visible, my screen is visible, put Y, please, everyone. Okay, Y, okay. I can see a few people are saying yes, okay. Sandeep says yes, okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, okay. So welcome for a session where I'm trying to address following 5 issues. First, the major problem, a lot of people do not understand the implication of ESG and ESG investing, sustainability, lot of theories are there. I will give you a structured thought process. That's the agenda number 1, where we will talk about ESG development, career trends, and ESG market in itself, what it looks like, the landscape. Second, I promise you to talk about how this climate action is impacting the society and world, and what is the impact of that to a businessman, an office bearer, all the leaders in the organization. Third, we will talk about the ESG landscape, okay, where we will be looking into GRI framework, PRI framework, BRSR, which is an Indian framework, and we will talk about it to understand it thoroughly, what it includes, what is the scope, and how it works. Okay, so that understanding also I will definitely promise to give you today. And in 1.5 hours also, I will try to wrap it up our programs, which ESG investing runs on regular basis. Okay, so welcome to the world of climate action, sustainable business development, and responsible investment banking. Now, before we go and deep dive in our slides, let's put some logistic and hygiene. First of all, if you have any question, please raise your hand or ask a question through the Q&A widget, which is available in the bottom of your slide. Second, if you have, in case you have some urgent question, please raise your hand. Third, if you have any issue related to the replay here, our YouTube is also going to work. So we will be live on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube directly there through our YouTube channel, and you will be able to, find out if you have any problem in entering here. Okay. Now, fourth, which we have to agree with is if you have, if we will give you a survey after this, if you fill that survey, we might give you a certificate as well if you qualify for the assessment. And finally, if any technical issue, you have Sandeep and Manoj in the sidelines. You can see their logo, M&A Experts Admin. You can talk to them. Now, with this, let me change my name so that will be easier. Okay, so we are live on YouTube now. That. Okay, so why me? Why we should talk to you? So basically, I'm a managing partner and founder of M&A Experts, which is an investment banking firm where I work full-time. And I also help in creating awareness, which is ESG Pro Mastery Institute, where we run 6-month program, 2 days program, 3-day certification program. And this awareness program is specifically where I help people. I have a 2 decade of modest experience in investing and specifically sustainable investing, have led Grant Thornton medalist as a transaction advisory head, and LML as a CFO, NEC as a CFO, and also I'm a full-time investment banker. I'm ESG certified from University of California MOOC program, and I'm a CFA charter holder. So that's why I talk a lot of ESG investing. So anybody has a ESG investing interest, or they want to work as a, a lot of sales or marketing people also come to us and they get their career development program through us. Now, if that is set, now let's go and understand this journey of future of business. Future of business is going to be definitely sustainable and how it helps. So good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this program. Today, we will embark on a journey into future of businesses. All businesses, I'm not talking about particular kind, sector, or type of industry. It will be applied to all, and that's the future. What is that future? Very simple future. It has to be sustainable, socially responsible, and effective governing company. Okay, which will not only drive the success, but basically it also will define success of tomorrow. That's the promise with this program or ESG gives us in overall. And why it gives us? Because this is the any business which follows ESG parameters, pillars, they create an organization which has a guiding compass for leaders as well as for organization itself, which becomes more resilient companies. So you can find them in ups and downs of economies. They do not die away so easily. Second, they are more responsible. So they are more active in different segments. And definitely they are profitable for tomorrow, not if not today. Now, what I will do here is two parts. First, I will talk about the future, which is here and now and why. Okay. Then we will also look into why this is important to understand, why anybody give a damn about such kind of programs. Clear? Now, in order to do that, let me first tell you that unlocking the business sustainability is not easy game. Okay. It requires a lot of effort and understanding, which we are starting in India a little late because world across you go, there are now compulsory programs where if the company is not following ESG compliance, they are in trouble. Okay. India, it has picked up recently. However, it's not new to India. It's quite old concept, but we are now very serious about it. And our business is also a little, slowly, but at a very high growth rate. And I will show you those numbers in this, awareness session itself, that how these numbers are panning out right now. So ESG offer a comprehensive framework. Please understand, it's not a simple systematic framework or not only a business framework which anybody can learn coming out of school, but it has a systematic, comprehensive framework which helps you to unlock the business sustainability. Where whenever I talk about sustainability, I talk about a business which is not only work for a year or two, or in stock market, we say long term is 5 to 10 years. But sustainability talks about the same timeline exceeding from 10 years to 50 years. That's the difference between a sustainable business, a long-term business, or a view which is long-termist in the nature. Second, what is the impact on profit? Definitely, we will try to understand through our slides in investment as well as in normal due course of business, how this ESG factors impacts it. You see, ESG encompasses environmental concern, okay, which is well known and everybody talks about it, from UN to Reliance. Everybody talks about it. Environmental concern, which is covered into ESG. Second, but it also covers social and governance aspect. Governance aspect is imposed in India through Companies Act 2013 and LODR 2015, but also it gets covered into ESG, which is coming into BRSR. And internationally, it is covered into GRI, TCFD, and UNFCCC. These people are definitely leading in this area apart from SASP. Now, I will define all this terminology for the easiness. Third, the evolution of ESG is now picking up. So next couple of slides, I will show you that how this has panned out, and not a single business and not a single position is left out of purview of ESG. So you are sitting anywhere in your company today, you are not even knowing about it, but definitely it touches your life somewhere, and which I will try to show you through my slides. Because the old philanthropic way of doing or approach of business in risk and opportunity is now do not only remains a philanthropic, rather it resonates with the investment community and a business community altogether, along with regulation and regulator, which takes care of it. And there is a clear-cut regulator, SEBI, which is in India, talking about it. Now, I'm changing the gear and we are going into deeper understanding of ESG. So with this, the introduction closes, and we are going to understand that E, which stands for environmental, S, which stands for social, and G, which stands for governance. All these of this Principal, we will cover right now what are the development in this area and what kind of career a senior level employee like you, okay, who are in board or who are working as a CXO or head of a department, how they knowing ESG change their game of their career. A mid-level employee, which is a manager or who wants to change his stream of working, somebody in sales wants to go into some gravitational pulling factor of ESG department, how they can transform themselves. And third, who are just passed out from college or have 2-3 years of experience, how learning in particular area of ESG will help them to grow and become ESG analyst, ESG, carbon credit accountant, all these positions which are there in the market, how they can approach to it. And this awareness program covers each part of the same. Why I'm saying that? Because anybody who doesn't care right now, they should be aware about it. The changes which is drastically changing the whole gamut of thing in the business altogether. And it starts from the board level where the investment is happening, or the investor level, or the shareholder level. So first, let's talk about the institutional investor and why anybody should even care about ESG, climate change, and sustainability. Of course, climate change, I have separate segment, which is a factor segment E, where I will go and define why you should care about it in detail. But let me cover right now that why even ESG or sustainability, we should consider it. Now, what will help me if you can just write your position in the chat box? Because after seeing that, I will try to address your concern specifically in this discussion. So go ahead, use your chat box and just write your position or your aspirational position which you are looking after taking a certification or understanding ESG. Just put that in the chat box. Sandeep, you can start with. Okay, so let's go back and try to understand that ESG impacts a corporate liability. Now, it is not a hidden fact that all three of the factors, the E, the S, and the G, impacts the company as a whole. Now, let me give you some examples. Starting with BP Horizon oil spill. It's one of the world's worst, climate phenomena, which man-made disaster, which we have done on the climate. Okay. Now, why a company should consider that that can happen? Why? And the reason is very simple. If you are in a business and you are specifically in oil and gas business, which is BP was, and they have an offshore unit in BP Horizon, where it got disaster has struck that oil rig. The company has faced a $15 billion bill. So see, of course, they lost their offshore unit, but apart from that, they got a penalty which reached to in terms of government putting onto them or societal aspect which they have taken after it. That check has costed them $15 billion, which underscores that financial repercussion for any company neglecting the E part of the ESG. Second, Bhopal gas tragedy, if I go to the S part, which is societal part. Now, who doesn't know that since 1980 till today, people of Bhopal are still suffering from the Union Carbide factory disaster, the gas leak which has happened. And not only that, the societal which got impact, they are demanding money, and that demanding money, if you want to convert into money term, it reaches to nearly $1 billion penalty or claim, which people are still asking from the government and Union Carbide. You see, this further emphasizes the financial consequences of the ESG factors, S in this case specifically. Governance, if you ask me, who doesn't know Enron as one of the failures in organization, which has an interest in most of the areas of industry at that point in time. $1 billion juggernaut has come to a halt and went for bankruptcy because they have lost GPAT. Forget about that. Recent example, let me give you, of WeWork, which not only tainted the credibility of a high-notch personality, which is, Mr. Masa, we call him favoritely Masa, who is still leading SoftBank and Vision Vision Capital Fund, the venture capital fund, Venture Capital Fund, which is backed by, of course, ADIA. Now, that also has faced a huge issue because of the governance aspect lapses there. A company which was valued at $47 billion has come down to $2, yeah, and went for a bankruptcy, eventual bankruptcy, after doing whatever possible they had in their hand. Coming back to India, we do remember Satyam is still haunts us. Yeah, a company which has created a IT phenomena when the Infosys, Mahindra and Satyam was leading, or Wipro and Mahindra, Satyam was leading from forefront, has immediately shut its operation and converted into British Mahindra Telecom, which has taken over the Satyam. That company has its own fate because of the governance issue. Recent Baiju is facing the similar issue because, of course, a private company still, we don't know what's going inside, but it is obvious that the governance and the social aspect of it, where they have not considered their customer as a king and treating them as a commodity, has faced a humongous issue. And if I have to convert into money, again, the similar situation. We are talking about $40 billion company coming down to 22, and that 22, which was valued last time in 2022 and has dropped down to 5 billion. So you can understand the impact of ESG on a business, the company who do not try to follow or try to take shortcuts, or the employee who are not following it. Several CFO have changed, CEO getting changed so frequently of those companies, all those companies which I have named, has an indicator some of the parameter in ESG is not working. So even though ESG is known as a non-financial parameter, but eventually nowadays people are reporting into financial. Second aspect why anybody should consider is the explosive growth itself. Now, I will show you a few more slides next to this, where I will show you in India how it is impacting. But now let me give you an international perspective, the explosive growth which has happened on the ESG over past 2 decades. It's not a recent phenomenon. I told you, the global ESG movement has surged to a level where it has reached above $65 trillion with T, capital T, $trillion. Yeah, where the asset under management is right now, it is false. People say that if I take all other parameter of ESG and consider all the funds which claims not only asset under management, but all the funds, it reaches equivalent to all the asset under management, which is around $110 trillion. So you have the total capital now available for green and ESG compliant businesses is the similar number. Now that's a phenomena. And people say in asset under management units, 45% of those currency has already gone green, which means that your company should be compliant, which means you should be completely aware about this phenomena to get a growth in your career as well as your company's business expansion. If you don't follow that, you have a trouble. Projection indicates that this trend is going to continue, okay, at least for next 7 years till 2030, when there will be plateaued action happening, reach to a level where it will get flattened. Okay, so 60-70% of the capital get transformed into green. Energy efficiency reaches to that levels where we don't need further changes in coal and other fossil fuel dependency. That reduces and our renewable energy picks up. So another 7 years, this will continue. Of course, there are predictions by Deloitte, KPMG that by next year, by 24-25, we will have $53 trillion to be exact, which will be part of asset under management. The fund will be available for a company, any company who wants these funds. Lastly, the ESG reporting compliances. Now I am showing you this graph, which you see, I'm sitting on top of that graph, and there is an orange line flowing all above me. Now that line indicates there is a sudden surge in 2018, which has taken place. Now this graph shows a principle for responsible investing company which are registered under principle of responsible investing business under UN Charter. Okay, so you see in 2006 they started very minuscule number, and now we have more than in 2023 more than 5,600 companies which reports under this. This is I am talking about the top asset management company, which includes JP Morgan, BlackRock, all the asset management company which exist in world. Out of those, 6,000 of those, nearly 5,500 of those are nowadays reporting into it. Now that's a phenomena. If you are looking for fund, or your company is expanding, or you are going for IPO, or you are a listed company, you definitely attract all these asset management companies. So if you are not green, you have a trouble in a couple of years. Before go any further, let me debunk the ESG myth. It's one of my favorite area where I try to explode you with the data and facts that why ESG is no longer a fad, okay? A temporary phenomena which will die very soon. First of all, let me take that ESG reduces the return on capital. A lot of people think that, look, I am a company owner, or I am a head of a company, CEO, CXO, marketing head. Why I should give a damn about it? It doesn't give me any return on the capital. It requires a lot of compliances rather. Now, let me give you facts here. The reality is company committed to ESG are finding themselves having a competitive advantage in three areas. First, the advantage on the product itself. They have a product which people like. And I will give you some example in following slides where I will show you, I will put two companies logo and I will tell you which company brand you will try to buy. And I know all of you will say, yes, the brand which has a ESG tag, or they are known for doing ethical business. Second, labor. The talent nowadays, specifically the Gen Z and millennia, have changed their approach towards taking a job, right? In the world of moonlighting, work from home, which is changing slowly again back to normal, had changed a mindset of people where the employees and real talents are making a decision based on the company, how compliant or authentic the company is. Okay, so that also a change. And capital market, of course, if you are a green company, you are reporting on GRI, BRSR standards, you are able to attract larger funds into your company, be it private, public, or even startups. All three have a choice of choosing the money. Coming from the investment banking background, I can give you a guarantee. If you are following ESG, or your business is having a real renewable agent, not the greenwashing ones, you will be able to attract 2 times of the investor side, which you are able to attract right now. That's the commitment. Second myth, let me bust, is ESG is a passing trend, the fad. It's a temporary phenomena. Every time something new happens in the world, India try to adopt, and then it dies. Wrong. Reality is now ESG has taken firm grounds, growing for last 5 years to the extent of 400%. Okay, since 2019 to 2021, it has grown by 463% to be exact. And I will show you a press release. Secondly, it is predicted to grow at 30%. Tell me a business right now, apart from AI/ML, which is growing at this scale. And this is not only applicable as a sector, it applies to all the companies in any sector, be it in toothpaste making company, to a nail making, to a steel making giant. Everybody can attract these funds, or can play a bigger role in ESG. The myth number 3, ESG sacrifices financial returns. Me remained as a CFO for a few companies for last couple of years. I do understand this question, which everybody had. And I too had in 2019 when I joined as a CFO, why I should deploy my resources to our ESG, or why I should even bother about ESG when it doesn't make a lot of difference. And rather, it reduces my financial strength because I have to put a person on the ground doing, shitty job of reporting. The reality, company with strong ESG tend to outperform the company which doesn't have ESG reporting. Yeah, a lot of debate around it, but the statistics, research, meta research specifically, gives a different indicator. In 2018, 2,000 companies, meta research suggested exactly what I have told you right now, that the company which are compliant and reporting on ESG, of course, they are a strong company. They have to be strong. They tend to give a hypothesis result, which indicates that it is the company which are following has a positive returns rather than the negative one. So if you have 10 company in that 2000 company, approximately 1,800 companies have reported that they have got a positive return. Only 200 companies have reported they got a negative results. Myth number 4, very critical. ESG is only relevant to specific industry. Absolutely fact, absolutely false. This is completely have been busted. It can be applied to any industry. And you tell me industry in the chat box, and I will tell you how it applies to your industry and your job, be it in marketing or otherwise. Fifth, ESG reporting is unnecessary. Yeah, people do tend to think this is not required. Why I should waste time or effort or money? The answer is, if you don't report ESG, first of all, the transparency is issue with your company. Second, it reduces the trust in your company. Rather, if I take it positively, ESG reporting increase trust in your company. It increases the transparency and, of course, regulatory compliances. So you are far away from the penalty which are lurching for any company which is not operating properly. Ignoring ESG reporting may lead to legal as well as reputational losses, which has been identified in top 10 risks all across the world. Now let me come to the career part of it. Yeah. So let me quickly cover that how ESG skill shortage now creates a fierce competition for ESG certified talents. CFI has done a research recently, and they did a research with transparency in 2022 on LinkedIn. Okay. What they do, they took all these positions, the leadership position, mostly the financial chief executive officer, the portfolio manager, the chief investment officer, and they try to find the profile of people who owns or have these jobs, their profile they went and checked whether they have mentioned ESG skill in their profile. Okay. They have taken a very large sample because it's happening on the online forum. So it is very easy to do it. 1 million profiles they have checked. And they found 0.7% of those profiles were reporting on an average that they have a ESG skills. There is a huge drastic, scarcity in the position like analysts, equity analysts. Only 0.7% of those were reporting it. On an average, it comes out to be the same number. And they compared this with the position which were open at that point in time for the similar jobs, okay? And they found out 6% of those were asking such kind of credential. You can see the difference here, 10 times. And that's why people are trying to learn this skill, understand this skill, get certified in it, which we also help in, and try to create awareness in the market. Second and most important point, this is a growing field and with a scale which is not seen in recent time other than the AI and ML, a technical field. If you are a AI ML, you should definitely do it. Why? Because demand for ESG job in India specifically has grown by 468% in last 3 years. This was reported in 2022. Okay. Now, if I see recent one, this is the report where they talk about that blue and green roles in India is struggling with ESG talent gap, and which is obvious. It's a July report in 2023. And that's why you have shown an interest to come and learn it, get certified in it tomorrow, and find a space which is right now not available for a lot of people. Third, ESG jobs in India has seen a 223% rise in 2019 indeed. So this is indeed report. Now you can understand the impact of this, right? That a lot of people are asking for jobs. And who are those people who are asking for these kind of employees? This is the full spectrum of industry, the ESG industry, where one side is regulator and rating provider. I have created 4 buckets for you for easy understanding, okay? Second is consultancy. Third, BFSI, the banking finances sector. And the final one is industry itself. You see the regulator, which are available in India or world, and we have huge capacity center of a lot of these companies, includes Bloomberg, Sustainalytics, ESG, ISS ESG, CDP, Dow Jones Sustainability Indices, and MSCI. These are the regulators and rating providers who are looking for talent in the market, the senior as well as the junior, at the partner level, director level, VP level, as well as the analyst level. Second, consultancy, they came into market first. So they still rule the market, and they are quite aggressive even in training side. They have their own academies. Okay. So McKinsey, BCG, Deloitte, EY, Accenture, all these are looking, and they are ready to pay Same analyst, which is having just experience of 3 to 5 years, if in market gets 12 lakh rupees in the same company, if you are ESG certified and you have an understanding of ESG, either reporting, integration, investing, you get at least 50 to 90% extra money as a salary. I'm just talking about the junior level. If I talk about the senior, the numbers goes completely different. It gets bonker, a crore. A guy who is getting a crore as a director or VP level, he gets 2 crores for the same job, or 1.5 crore if he's ESG understanding. He has ESG understanding or he specializes in that area. BFSI is the highest paymaster right now in the market, includes the BlackRock, who has completely go green in 2019 and 21. They have decided, where Larry Fink has decided to go for any investment or all the investment which they have, and they run countries, right? So wherever they have made an investment, they make sure those investments are ESG compliant. It helps not only to them, to other people there as well. In the certification program, 2 days program, we do discuss a case study about Larry Fink and BlackRock and State Street and how they impact and why we should learn and what we should learn to get compliant with those kind of position and jobs. Finally, industry, you name it, every industry nowadays is reporting. If you are a top 1,000 company in India, voluntarily you have to report under BRSR your green reporting. We say BRSR reporting, which is a non-financial reporting. All these companies have already started reporting, and we will show you in the timeline how that will go in compulsory mode. So it is getting going forward as a compulsory, same like what you do in your financial reporting, you have to do similar into the non-financial reporting. Now, these are the professional certification which are available, and we help them to clear all these exams. Certificate in ESG investing, which is run by CFA, credible. Need more elements. Of course, we will go, Santoshji, in the last segment, which is only for BRSR. We will go and detail that, discuss that. Of course, in 2 days program, we have a complete module on BRSR. So we'll go and get details there as well. Let me complete here the CFA Institute, which is offering this program. They have no requisite. So any position, any person can join this program as long as you are a graduate. It's a 6-month certification program. It has a global recognition. Right now, they are available in 70 countries. CFA, of course, is available in more than 190 countries. However, no certification title on the passing. You get just certification report. In-person and online testing is available, so you can appear that. There is another program under PRI Academy. You remember all the asset management company, which is largest company in the world, 6,000 of those has already enrolled under PRI. They follow these programs. So 4,000 plus signatories are there. You have to have understanding of ESG. Applied responsible investing is their core. Of course, they train on these 3 modules as well, for trustee as well as for advanced. The certificate name is CISGA, Certified ESG Analyst. If you want to go to World Bank or etc., those kind of jobs where climate action is that core, to WEF Forum, World Bank, UN, all this position nowadays have a requisite of clearing SCR. Okay, so if you are in that area, GARP offers that program. It's mostly a risk management program which talks about the climate action in detail. They have a targeted risk management professionals, mostly the internal auditors, etc. They follow these. There is no prerequisite for sign up. So you can be just graduate and then you can enroll for this program, offered under GARP and FRM exams. No certification on title, again, similar like CFA. So both of them issue a certification, but you do not be, having a charter on this area. So these are the certification program which helps. Now, let me establish a fact that how ESG compliant businesses are reporting benefits. First and foremost example is 3M. You see 3M talks about innovation all the time. So they have been proactive, not now, since 1975. Okay, they have launched a program called Pollution Prevention Pays. They always have a 3-word colloquial language. And what has happened there is they have saved more than $2.2 billion just by running this program. Can you imagine that in 33 years, approximately 30 years, they are able to save $2.2 billion of one company. Yeah. So ESG investing do create a value for shareholders. That establishes the 3M case. If I take another 2 cases, which is a FedEx case, They have gone ahead, and maximum the logistic company has carbon emission through their transportation, isn't it? They launched in 2019, November 2019, where they have converted their 20% of the fleet, where they wanted to into ethanol or other mode of renewable energies. By reducing this, they were able to reduce the fuel consumption by 50 million gallons, which of course converts into carbon. Now, there are several examples. Of course, we will discuss that in detail, that how effective it is. Now, before we go there, let's understand that in 2023, any investment which has happened all across the world, which is approximately $2.8 trillion, yeah, worth of investment only in this year was committed in infrastructure development. Now, if you see that number, 60% of those have gone to green investment. For example, solar farms, development of solar farm, or captive unit for energy conversion, low carbon emission fuels development programs, efficiency improvement, and end use renewable and electrification program. All this program amounted to $1.7 trillion. Can you understand the impact of the same? How effective it is? Yeah. So now, if you have understood the facts and figures of why anybody should focus here, let's go ahead and understand E, S, and G part. Let me start with E. Environmental awareness and conservation, where I am going to show you a video, a quick video. Let me end this.
General is speaking in New York. Antonio Guterres
Give me a thumbs up if you are able to see my screen.
Alarming climate data is released today. Let's bring you some of that speech.
For the entire planet, it is a disaster. And for scientists, it is unequivocal. Humans are to blame. All this is entirely consistent with predictions and repeated warnings. The only surprise is the speed of the change. Climate change is here, it is terrifying, and it is just the beginning. The era of global warming has ended, the era of global boiling has arrived. The air is unbreathable, the heat is unbearable, and the level of fossil fuel profits and climate inaction is unacceptable. Leaders must lead. No more hesitancy, no more excuses, no more waiting for the others to move first. There is simply no more time for that. It is still possible to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and avoid the very worst of climate change, but only with dramatic, immediate climate action. We have seen some progress, a robust rollout of renewables, some positive steps from sectors such as shipping, but none of these is going far enough or fast enough. Accelerating temperatures demand accelerated action. We have several critical opportunities ahead: the Africa Climate Summit, the G20 Summit, the UN Climate Ambition Summit, COP28. But leaders, and particularly G20 countries responsible for 80% of global emissions, must step up for climate action and climate justice. What does that mean in practice?
So let me give you a context of this while my slide comes back. You see, he's UN Secretary. What he's trying to highlight to everyone is that now the global warming is a gone discussion. Okay? Global warming is no longer a relevant discussion. Actually, now the challenge is the global boiling. That's what he was trying to indicate in his discussion. That global boiling is a topic which we should discuss. It's no longer warming. And why he was telling that, let me show you my screen back. My screen is visible? So basically, he was giving a speech, UN Secretary was giving a speech in July 2023, right after when world highest temperature on Earth was recorded. Actually, United States had declared that 57 million people, a developed country reporting this, has exposed to dangerous heat. Yeah. And this was the, of course, Washington Post extreme heat tracker. If you go and check on 23rd of July, 2023, you will find it has recorded the highest temperature. Yeah. At the same time, China was reporting a sizzling heat waves. A lot of people were dying. Forget about they were exposed to extreme heat. In the case of US, people were dying in China and India. And we know it every year in India, it happens, right? Antarctic was hotter than ever. Yeah, during this winter, the temperature in the North Africa has reached to the highest peak point of 122 degree Fahrenheit. This was happening first time in 150 years. Actually, in 1903, it was recorded 1 degree lesser, 1 degree Fahrenheit lesser than in July this year. Now, these facts has created this momentum where a UN secretary comes in to discuss and talks about that warming. Let's not discuss about warming. Let's discuss about the boiling. And who is the culprit? Obviously, you can see in the picture is still our dependence on non-renewable fuel for our electricity generation. Why? Because coal, which is the most highest carbon, GHG emitting material, is still, we are looking into 35.4%. And remember this number, I will bring this number once again in my next slide. 35.4% of our energy comes from the plants which are still running on coal. Yeah, and I'm not talking about India or China. I'm talking about all across the world. This is the world number. Our dependence on coal is for the different reason, but still dependence on coal is not acceptable. Renewable still contributes to 15%, 1/5, lesser than 1/5, actually 1/4, 1/6 of the world consumption is coming from the wind, solar, and others. And that need to be changed. Okay, if that is not changed, you see the leader laggards, which I'm trying to show you. The leader, of course, is Sweden, which is now reporting on all parameters very good in terms of consumption. If you check the top 10 countries, the Sweden, of course, stands out as a pioneers in sustainability. They have consistently demonstrated a commitment to the eco-friendly practices. The renewable energy adoption and low carbon emission has put them on the top level of this chart. Of course, Sweden, Denmark, United Kingdom, Finland. United Kingdom has already deployed a large number of wind power plants offshore in the sea. Yeah, they were the first pioneer in this area. However, if you see the bottom one is quite irony. The country, Qatar, Kuwait, all these countries are right now in top 10 countries in least green. Plus, they are also top 10 countries who has the largest per capita income. Yeah, their per capita income goes in 180,000 per person. India is only 2,000. America is around 80 to 90,000. China is around 40,000. So you can understand, right? The country which has the largest per capita income has the least green company in the world. And that need to be changed because these countries faces the sustainability challenge. They have a diversification issue. That is why Saudi has started changing his stances on different aspects of green. So that need to be changed in e-terms. If I see a ranking of the countries based on the fossil fuel production, you see US and Russia leads here. India is nowhere, of course. We do not produce anything. But the best part is Saudi Arabia and China still remain the lowest in this ranking, the 6th or 8th or 9th. Yeah, that's again astonishing that the largest producer of fossil fuel is USA. And that's why they do not agree to a lot of Paris, COP21 agreements. And the reason is in front of you. Second, ranking, if I see in terms of contribution to total oil production, again, US ranked the top, just above the Saudi Arabia, because the Saudi Arabia is the largest in OPEC countries. You see, China again ranks on 5th or 6th in this ranking as well. They are also the largest producer of contribution to total oil production. If I take another perspective, the coal, right? Why we consume large amount of coal? The reason is here. Of course, we rank in top 2, but you see, China ranks in all the fossil fuel consumption along with the coal in top 5. Here, they are even topping the level, and which is quite astonishing. Yeah. They are the producer. If the producer is you are ranking on the top level, you definitely pollute the environment. Another factor which I want to show you here, that if I take an annual average percentage change in GDP, okay, in OECD country, of course, you will see on an average 1 or 2%, and even 0.5% in some cases like Japan. But if I see non-OECD country GDP growth, it is going into, on an average, approximately 3.5 to 6%, where India is leading it. Now, if this is the situation and we remain, because we are into growth momentum, we are not fully developed, we definitely need all kind of resources with us. And that is where the energy consumption relates to. But the energy consumption exactly goes inverted if you see that. You see, Asia only consumes hardly 1/4 of what America and Europe consumes. Okay, because our lifestyle is like that, and we are used to electricity cuts, etc. We do not consume per capita basis so much electricity as America and Europe consumes it, even though we are the highest developing non-OECD countries. Yeah, of course, if I only consider the non-OECD country, Asia leads the target because we have the largest population and largest growth producing country. But this gives an indication that we should be worried about that the growth is not equal, and that's why loss and one of the agenda of COP28 is loss and damages, which is applied to country which is right now developing, including Africa, and they do not have any other scope than doing some carbon emission. So they need it, and that's why it is one of the very heated debated topic, and this time in COP28 it is going to get addressed in reality. So let's see what are the outcomes. Once it will be there, definitely I will be there to discuss on my LinkedIn. In 2035, now the growth, how the growth will happen. So you see, renewable will take a percentage of large share. Today, of course, we are not above 14%, but we are expecting in 2035, renewable will take 25% of the market share. You remember, I told you to remember the coal percentage of today, their contribution to the energy generation, 34. And that exactly get replaced in 2050. Yeah, still we are far away of that scenario. But still we are hopeful by 2035, if we go to 25, there will be sustainability getting into play. But of course, there are a lot of other requirements, like we stick to 1.5% degree Celsius growth or 2% max to reach to these levels. And everybody who is committing to net zero, they follow their path. You see the global primary energy consumption terawatt hour wise. What this graph try to show that there will be tremendous change in few area. Now you see the total will remain more or less similar. The growth in the energy consumption will not go beyond 100,000 terawatt hours. Oil will decline little bit in 2050. Okay, it will decline. It will, their space will reduce, but they will be not out of the consumption. That's the another phenomena as a person should know. Nuclear will also remain similar or maybe decline. What will replace them is biofuel, which has a moderate growth. Wind has a trajectory, a large accelerated growth. Solar will have a similar, but you see CCS, CCU, CCUS, which is right now nowhere, very small fraction of contribution to the whole thing, will start taking a larger roles. Yeah, this is the logarithmic scale kind of stuff which we try to show. And that is why, and why that is happening, because the green ammonia plants are announced, and carbon-based e-fuel plants are announced, and all these will by 2050 will accelerate. Very interesting graph here. Yeah. Now we will go into our third segment, a very important segment relating to ESG investing. Now, ESG investing, people think that it is only for the investment community. Rather, it's exactly opposite. It applies to all senior leadership as well as junior level position. How? Let me show you that. Here, this is the area where everybody works in the organization. They have to calculate the 5 pathways of materiality to prove their worth, that they are contributing to the company. Earlier, the company used to only measure their bottom line through one profitability, right? The net profit or the EBITDA. But now the materiality path under ESG has created that every employee should see that how they are contributing to any of this material pathway, because organization has to report on it. And of course, I will also discuss the Indian ecosystem of BRSR in this segment. So let me first tell you what is this 5 pathways to ESG materiality. So you see the ESG factors are distilled into 5 pathways. The first one is revenue growth. Okay. So anything which you do in any organization has to be seen with the lens of, does this activity contributes to my revenue? Clear? If that is the case, does this create a value, this activity or my position or my company subsidiary, does it creates an impact where it reflects into revenue? Point number 1. Second, does my actions creates a cost saving? Yeah, so this is another way to look into ESG impact, because these pathways encompasses their impact not only in the financial but customer. Do we get more customer because we are deploying this, or we are getting more efficient customer? The LTA we say, the LTC we say, the life cycle, LCA we say, life cycle of the customer, how that impacts to us. The cost part, the regulatory risk is the third path of materiality, because if you reduce the regulatory risk, you reduce the penalty on your companies or a stoppage in your companies, right? And also it reduces your legal risk, because you have to account for it. Even though one court case is going, you have to report that, and that has a material impact in your organization. So this ESG compliance also covers this part, that how ESG helps me to reduce the law or cases to my company. Third is risk regulatory and legal risk reduction. The fourth comes the employee productivity. Does my action helps in enhancing the productivity of my employee? Yeah, and as I told you, a lot of people now deciding whether to join a company, a good talent, they decide based on the company's ESG compliance and their sensitivity to sustainability. They definitely look into that part. And finally, does the company, due to ESG implementation, able to maintain their asset base better? It can be resource. If you are a mining company, does the mines are better controlled? If you are an investment BFSI, you will talk about, does your asset quality has increased because you are following either environmental or social or government aspect of your business. So recognizing these paths are not only crucial for effectively integrating the ESG consideration into your business, a strategy, investment decision, but also it is nowadays essential for your business to follow. And this is the way any framework works. Okay, so whatever you report on these 5 material aspects. Now, let's consider few examples. Okay, so I have put in front of you 2 logos, Tata and Adani. Now, my question to you, you can use your chat box and just write why, if you believe Tata is it's a good company, it's a good brand, it's a sustainable brand, and put N if you think Adani is a good brand or good company. However, the market cap wise, Adani is better. And it was one of the top most performing stock market company just a year back, just before January 28th. They were the best company in the world. Okay, not only best company, but they were a profitable company in the world. So I am just asking this question, use the chat box, just tell Y or N if you think Tata is better than the Adani. Yeah. So people are saying, okay, so people are saying Tata. Yeah, its obvious answer is there that Tata is one of the leading company because they are known as a sustainable environmental employee pro company. And absolutely, Santoshji, is all about the brand, and the Tata brand carries that momentum compared to the Adani, even though the Adani is having more profitable company and have been leading company in the world in Fortune 500. And that reflects in their profitability in terms of the revenue. So if you see the Adani and Tata, Adani leads the revenue in terms of financial, but they lacks the revenue part when it comes to the branding. And they have lost a lot of contract recently because of the issue that they were facing. Of course, they are recovering and matter is sub judice, so I cannot talk about it. But the impact of brand does carry a value. You see, who has worked on the new Parliament building? And you'll be astonished to know it's L&T and Tata projects. These are the two companies which we were working. Why not Adani? Even though they were known to be doing a lot of consultancy in large buildings, they could not do it. You see now, next part is cost saving. And I have told you already that FedEx has saved 50 million gallons of oil because they implemented in 2019 one initiative on ESG. You can save waste disposal, energy consumption, any way you can do this and you can get better off through this activity. Now, innovative design can reduce power consumption and waste. One of the good example is Walmart, which has done that. Initial investment in sustainability has led them for a long-term profitability. And this is one of the company like Walmart and FedEx have achieved a significant cost saving through sustainability efforts. So the cost saving. Third, regulatory and legal risk. Who doesn't know that Silicon Valley Bank has collapsed in 2023? One of the leading bank, one of the bank which has created Silicon Valley, people say, okay, because of the governance risk. Uber has the similar kind of issues wherever they have gone, even though they had an innovative idea that people can get a transport by just click of button, they have been registered all across the world. Yeah, and these are the known examples how a regulatory and legal risk, if you are not covered for it and your company is not thinking about it, you are exposing yourself. If you go to the employee productivity enhancement, best example is Google. You know why? Reasons why Google is the best company to work for, and people will say the employee productivity increases because the employees are more comfortable in their organization. Another example which we talk as a case study in our 6-month program, 2-day program as well, where we talk about Tata acquiring JLR, okay, and how the one company which has never made a profit under guidance of BMW, under guidance of Ford, you remember Ford was the previous owner, they never made a profit. But when they came to Tata, of course, Ratan Tata got himself involved, and in 10 years, he has given a 3x sales from the same company. Of course, now they are facing an issue because Tata is no longer that active as he used to be. Yeah. So that's the third. And the last part, you see ESG integration does provide, if you compare the MSCI India ESG leaders versus MSCI normal, the normal index, you see the difference is very large, 100 basis point difference. You can easily say in rupees lakhs, it's a huge number. Yeah. And why it has happened? Because most of the company which are following the ESG or reporting into it, at least they are not going bankrupt or facing penalties. Clear? And also it has been seen that in the times of boom, these companies tend to outperform the normal benchmark companies. And at time of bust or recession, these companies do not go much down as long as if you compare with other companies. Okay, so that's the difference. So how you judge this, and what are the way an employee or an organization or a regulator or a country evaluates it? And there comes the reporting framework. Yeah, because a standardization of this is a key, and that's why India has deployed BRSR. In world, there have already been TCFD, GRI, and let's discuss that. So again, 4 buckets. This is the landscape of ESG, okay? The ESG approach landscape. So one bucket I have created for global goals, which includes the SDGs, where it all started. It started with PRI, of course, CDP, Greenhouse Gas Protocol, GHG protocols, and of course UN Global Compact, which owns even GRI framework. The GRI framework falls under UN Global Connect initiative. If you see the second one, which is a reporting framework. So there is a goals which has been set, and then there is a reporting framework which has been created around it, be it GHG protocol, CDP, PRI goals, or SDG goals. So GRI is leading there along with SASB. Okay, so these two organizations are leading along with EcoVadis, TCFD, and ISO. ISO carries a reporting framework. In the environment, they have 14,001. In other also they have. And we had some question dealing with there. Now, third part is a regulation, which includes the CSRD, SFDR, EU taxonomy. These are the regulation, and BRSR by SEBI is a regulation which you have to follow. Then there are rating agency where there is a lot of confusion right now, because more than 500 companies have their own parameters, which doesn't connect to each other in some time. For the reporting purposes, okay, rating purposes especially. So if I'm complying to Sustainalytics and I'm in the top 20, maybe I'm in the bottom 20 if I'm going and reporting into Dow Jones, because both of them have different kind of rating structure. Okay, so these are the 4 buckets. Now let me take few of the reporting and global goal phenomena. Now this is quite an interesting slide. Why? Because here we talk about a story. To remember it, specifically for busy people like us who doesn't have time to remember, and most of the discussion all across the boards in the business, in organization, happens around the which policy you are talking about. Are you talking about SGAI policy number 3, and they will just say that policy number 3. Now you have to recognize which policy is policy number 3. So it's a global health and well-being is what he's talking about. So let me first divide this SDG into 5 parameters. So one of the parameter and the leading parameter is peace, and you know that it is not there in the world right now. So Ukraine, Russia, Hamas, Israel, people are all across world. You go and you will see there are some issues. Okay, so that's the first parameter which SDG try to address, that how to create a harmony. Second is prosperity, which has approximately 5 principle which follows the prosperity parameter: clean energy, economic growth, innovation, reduce irregularities, and sustainable cities. These are the part of prosperity, which indicates the prosperity for UN members who are following it, and even the organization who reports under this global platform. Third is people. Again, it has 5, and planet also has 5 principles, and finally partnership has 1. So this is the 17 principle which we try to remember, and I will give you a trick here that we remember in a way like a story way. So what we say is there is a party happening in ISRO, okay, because they send there was a successful mission on the Chandrayaan 3, right? It was a successful mission. So the guy in the company, they have named him something really bad. So his name, we will say blip. Okay, there is a blip, right? Any bad word, we say blip. But they jokingly call that guy, and on his behalf, this party is happening in ISRO. So there is a peg, and there are eggs, and there are few people who do not like this. So they say ew, kind of, they do not like. So these 5 nomenclature we remember, we try to remember with the number along with what this number indicate for. So if you want to remember, let me give you idea. So the peg, egg, EU, I do not like this, party. Few people are vegetarian, non-vegetarian, do not they drink like me. So they say EU. And where it is happening in ISRO. And for whom this party is happening? It is happening because Mr. Blip has led that organization, and this organization has done really well. So now let me put into the sequence. So PEG stands for, first is poverty, P for PEG, P for property, right? Poverty. So no poverty is the first one in the rank. Then there is E, right? So E is erase hunger. It's a 0 hunger, that's the parameter, but we have changed it to erase hunger to remember it, right? So that's the second one. First is P for no poverty. Second, erase hunger. And G, first G comes for the good health and well-being. So good health, G for good health. That's the PEG. Now, if you come to the another interesting story, which is egg, right? So E is quality education. So that's the E for quality education. Now it has 2 G's, right? The first G comes for G is gender equality. Now it's a fifth number. Now you can get confused, right? Two G's, right? Which one is gender equality? Which one is glittering water or water, right? So the fifth number is equality. Now in 10 number series, fifth comes in the middle, right? So that's the equal number. So we say it's a gender equality talks happens at the mid of that top 10 numbers. Okay. So that's why it is on the second G. The third G is glittering water. Now there is no glittering water in this. It's a clean water and sanitation, but we say glittering water. Okay. So that's number 6, the second G. And then there is EWI, EU. Yeah. The person who do not like peg or egg, they are saying EU, but they are there, right? So that EU stands for E for affordable and clean energy, E for energy. Okay, so that's the number 7. That 8 is decent work and economic scenarios. This is the principle number 8. The 9 is very interesting, and I will make you remember that 9 one as well. So first is P for zero poverty. Second is erase hunger. First G is in the peg is G is good health. So if you are in good health, then only you can do anything. And then comes the education. If you are in good health, fourth number is education. Fifth, which is a center, we say gender equality. It's an equal number. It's a neutral number. So gender equality, we talks at the fifth number. Sixth is a glittering water. And then people who do not like this, right? So they have energy, E, EU, work, decent work. And then triple I comes at 9th. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure, right? So that's the 3I, maximum I comes at this stage. And that's why it's a I also is 9th number in the alphabet order. So that's why people remember it, the 9th I in the alphabet, and it also has a 9th principle in the 17th principle. That's how we remember this. In the 2-day program, we go into detail each of them, and you remember it after the class, and you never forget it. And it is essential when we are sitting in the board meetings. So anybody talks about a principle, you know which principle he's talking about. Now let's go into UNPRI system, okay? How this system works. Now, UNPRI, as I told you, in 2006, they have taken a space. It came into existence by United Nations, FCC. They have launched it, the Financial Committee. PRI stands for Principle for Responsible Investing. Now, this framework is based on 6 principles that guide all the signatory who has signed here to incorporate ESG consideration. So what all it includes? It includes ESG issues into investment analysis, decision-making process, okay? So you have to include this into your decision-making process. Active ownership has to incorporate the ESG issue, yeah, in the form of policy and procedure. So you have to, the second one principle is policy and procedure. The third one, seek appropriate disclosures. So wherever you invest, make sure that you are seeking appropriate disclosure, okay? If you see fourth one, it relates to, the principle relates to promoting the accepting and implementation of the principle within the investment industry. So even though you are a part of investment industry, you need to promote it. You need to talk good about it. And finally, you have to work together to enhance the effectiveness of this implementation of these principles. So you have to cooperate, collaborate with the institution and make sure everybody in this industry is able to follow it. Now, last one, which is also a very important one, is each report on our activity, is the company which is promoting the activity, has to report the progress towards the implementing the principle. Now, these are the 6 principles where the UN PRI is based, which is applicable to investment, asset management company, investment industry, etc. Global reporting initiative is taken care by all the companies, okay? Including in India, who is reporting on BRSR, they also report on GRI. Anyway, GRI is linked to BRSR up to 70 to 80%. The question matches. So GRI, this is the only initiative which is recognized by UN and endorsed as a framework, reporting framework. Okay. So this is very critical framework and well accepted. After this, the only framework which has taken the space of GRI is SASB, promoted by UK. GRI is US and this is UK. So UK companies generally follow the SASB, which has come from, if you are aware about IFRS, the company which promotes the IFRS is a similar company. So it recognizes the importance of ESG factors, including economic parameters. So this also reports the economic side of it. Reporting is definitely not just a tick boxing in GRI framework. It's rather a way to build a sustainable strategy for your own company. So it's not only help you to just report it, it also helps you to look forward, sustainably forward-looking business it creates. Yeah, and it makes effective efforts towards that area. It has a two type of report you will see. Any report which is GRI compliant report, it reports two ways. First, it will say with reference to GRI. And second, it will say in accordance to GRI. Okay. So in accordance to is deep, detailed. If you are writing a detailed report, it becomes in accordance. If you are writing a few parameters only, then it goes as a reference. Of course, it's had three phases of reporting. Similar structure you will see in BRSR as well. So Santosh Mistry ji had asked on that. We will discuss that. The first is the foundation phase, which is general principles. You have to cover that. You have to report on it. Then you have to go into disclosure side. So general disclosure, and then 5 materiality which you have identified, you can utilize here in material topic phase. So 3 phases are there in GRI reporting. Clear? So now, once we have understand that how and why, so there is a support argument and there is a against argument. Let's understand why people support that companies should report on GRI or BRSR or TCFD standards. The first and foremost cause is transparency, which leads to trust. So you create a transparent and trustful environment for your business. Second is process and system improvement. It definitely improves your system because there are policy procedure. When you are reporting, you are cognizant of your efforts, right? So you put that system to report it, to implement it. So that increases if you are reporting. Third, it enhances the decision making. Yeah. So if the clarity is there, transparency is there, automatically the decision making at the top as well as at the bottom level, it becomes effective and efficient because you have a system, right? So everybody has their own parameters to report on. So everybody can take their decision better. Finally, it reduces the compliance cost. A lot of people get here confused that how it reduces. Actually, it reduces because once you implement a system in a year, automatically year on year, it becomes a system which you follow rather than every year you have to invest your time and money on that. And eventually every company has to do, so better you adopt it early. Now that brings us to the BRSR, which is Indian specific regulatories. Okay. BRSR stands for Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. Earlier, this was only BRR. So Business Responsible Reporting. This was the responsibility reporting was the previous one, which has implemented in 2012. And let me show you a graph that how this BRSR has come into effect. What was the reason? So evaluation of ESG itself is a reason that ESG is not a new phenomenon to India as well. Of course, not every company has followed it, but leaders were following it for long, including Tata Steel, NTPC, you name it. A lot of people are reporting in this area. First and foremost, 1988. When the company required to report on energy conservation. So you have to report in your financial as well as in separate reporting, energy conservation initiative that was implemented in 1988. 2008, 10 years down the line, rather 20 years down the line, CRISIL launched a ESG index. So ESG index, which you are saying now, is not new even. There are a lot of other company has already launched it. Yeah, in 2008, first was CRISIL, which has launched it. Now it is a S&P company. Okay, is no longer an Indian, complete Indian company. So they launched a ESG index in 2008 to track 50 Indian stock company which are reporting in this area. Okay, then it became a mandatory guideline in 2010. NGVC, we say, National Guideline for Voluntary Reporting, VR. Sustainable Development and Corporate Governance for CPSA. This was in 2010, this was launched. In 2012, of course, BRR came into existence, a mandatory requirement for 100 companies that they should voluntarily report if they are top 100 market capitalized company in India, they have to report on this. Okay. So now that is there, then of course, it slowly it got into BSC as well in 2017 and 2019, the quantum of ESG equity fund has increased. So basically you are unaware, then you can be having exclusion policy that we do not count such kind of activity into our business. Then you become aware. Yeah. So from aware to impact or thematic businesses or investing is part of active ownership. That's how it has developed. If you see a BRSR framework itself, so MCA, as I told you, NVG reporting has started in 2011. This was produced by MCA, IICA, and MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs in India. They first introduced this for ESG. In 2012, they made it a compulsory requirement under BRR 9 principle. These 9 principles never changed, but it improvised. Okay, for 100 companies, this was done under mandating the CSR here, that you have to do CSR to 2%. 2015, SEBI launched a LODR requirement for 500 companies. Yeah, so all the 500 company has to report in BRI. In 2020, BRSR was introduced by, of course, by replacing the BRR with amendments. 2021, it became mandatory for 1,000 companies. And 2023, now they have also introduced BRSR core, which has just 90% of common guidelines, but these are little higher level reporting. Of course, when we will go into detailed discussion, we will talk about that into detail. So how this guideline, pans. Satoshji, if you wanted detail, here is the detail. So these are the 5 major important aspects where BRSR guidelines promote the corporate sustainability. How they do it? Enhance the business impact. So the business impact increases. Second, it also gives a global alignment. So if you want to go globally, you are a multinational company, or you want to attract funds from international market, or you are getting listed nowadays in GIFT City even, the global alignment is important, right? So GRI, SASB, TCFT. So BRSR gives you that opportunity because it links automatically to these kind of reporting as well. It also emphasizes employee training and awareness, which is critical, right? And disclosure of environmental social impact assessment is quite important. It encourages the KPIs for essential and leadership indicators. So these essential and leadership, these are 2 kind of indicators in BRSR framework, which is important and happens here. So how the BRSR has been formed? So basically, it took the 8 different regulations and combined it together. It starts with the SASB, which is IFRS regulatory framework, then NGRBC, then it goes to international reporting cycle, which is IRC's committee, international reporting committee. They have IR, and then UNGP, right? UNGP, CDP, UNSDG, the SDG 17 principle, TCFD 6 principle, PRI 6 principle, all these are combined together into BRSR. So BRSR is not an alien stuff. It follows the international regulation. That's what it establishes. Okay, so now let's go into the framework itself. So it has a general disclosure, management disclosure, process disclosure, and then the principle wise, the essential and the leadership indicators. Now, if you see the framework, BRSR also has approximately 9 principles. It has a 9 principle. And here also, to remember it, we have a BPS EPIC. We say it's an EPIC document. That is why if you want to understand what EPIC stands for, so E stands for environmental. So respect, protect, and restore environmental. So E is environmental. P in EPIC stands for policy advocacy, right? So responsible public policy advocacy is P in EPIC. If you see I, it talks about inclusive growth. Yeah? Very important part of it. And finally, the C stands for consumer engagement. So BP's EPIC is the 9 principle under BRSR. Now, with this, we have ended our introduction awareness session. Now, whoever wants to get certified, we are running a certification program for 2 days, coming 25th and 26th, okay, of November. These 2 days, 2 hours each. If you spend, we go in each topic, approximately 6 topics in detail. And why anybody should attend it? If you are interested, then you continue with me, or you can move on. So who is this for? Okay, so it is for ESG enthusiasts. So you just want to understand in simple language from practitioners who are running similar kind of investment decision making, being CFO, running the show. From them, if you want to understand, you can be anywhere in the organization. You can be consultant, you can be sales executive, you can be sales head. You are in investment side of the business. You are in quality. Yeah, quality is a huge scope in quality is there. You are in HR department. Of course, sustainability is a part of HR department. Most of the company, including Wipro, Infosys, most of the HR department is running their sustainability reporting understanding as well. You can be operational executive, specifically engineers. Okay. So if you are an engineer, you should attend this kind of programs and get certified in it, because tomorrow when organization take a grips of it, or today when they are taking it, you will be the most eligible candidate to go into that cycle of the business. Yeah. If you are a CXO board of director, we have a lot of those in our program right now. And we have only 5 seats left. Okay. We have already 15 seats full. Only 5 more people we are expecting to join. So if you are interested to get certified and get a further momentum in this area, in ESG area, sustainability area, or you are a business owner, then also you should, get certified in this. What all it includes, let's discuss that. We have 3 modules on day 1, simple 3 modules, okay? Each 40 minutes. 2 hours, 2 hour, 10 minutes, that's what we do. And then we have a project. So first day, we will discuss about the introduction. So whatever you see in the introduction, we go deep in that, okay? So few more understanding what E stands for, what are the initiative, what carbon accounting is all for, introduce the concept of ESG and relevance to the businesses. So we'll link it. We will talk only case study. Okay, we will talk about Tesla. We will talk about Freedom Girl, which is established in Wall Street. These case study will explain you that how it relates to business. Second, we explain various frameworks, GRI, TCFD, all these framework, we go into little detail and try to understand how this implementation of this I can take care of, or does it relates to me. So that chance is given to you. Third problem, which generally any executive in any organization has it, what kind of discussion is this? Okay, in ESG, how it impacts my career. So we will go and talk about it in detail, that how it impacts anybody's career route and what are the action they can take. So it highlights the benefit of ESG incorporation in your business and in your career. Okay, and we will give you some strategy and investment ideas there. Then we will definitely go into E side of the ESG. Okay, so why global boiling system, the ecosystem, biodiversity, sustainability is getting impacted. We will explain the importance of biodiversity, maintaining the ecosystem, how that ecosystem network works. Okay, so we'll explain you little bit of science, but in a very simple language, the practitioner business language. Okay, that's what we bring into perspective. It's a 2-day program. Of course, we cannot go into scientific discussions even, but in the 6-month program, we do that. Then we go into role of explaining the sustainability practices. So here, the practice will be discussed, that how to preserve it. So we'll talk about certain initiative in energy industry. Okay, so where nuclear power plant, the retro plants, they are getting newer version of it. The coal plant, how they need not to close, they need to make efficient use of it. So those kind of discussion, fusion, fission, all this discussion, all across world examples will be brought and discussed here. Then we go into climate change part of it, which is critical, explore the various clean energy, carbon accounting, clean energy pathways, and there are certain support material. The next day, we talk about the stakeholder side, the customer, the investor, the shareholder, the head of department, how they get impacted. So for them to get impacted, we try to identify the frameworks. So you need to understand the framework, because the moment your company adopts any framework, you become a key person to either develop your expertise in that, or you become a part of it. In both the cases, you have to understand GRI in detail. So we go into detail. What are the different chapters, 104, 105, 106. We go into BRSR details, that how the reporting looks like, how 9 principles pan out, which principle applies to which area of the operation, that kind of discussion. Of course, basics, but very clear one. So tomorrow, if somebody is talking to you, you understand their language. Compare these 2 frameworks and also TCFD, how that influenced the program, SASB, how that has developed, what is the importance of it, all that will be discussed on the module 4. Module 5 talks about the ESG integration into businesses. So here, a little bit of technical knowledge of decision-making side. So if you are a senior level, this is the most interesting topic, that how ESG creates a value, so which you can talk to your management or your board. If you are on board side, you talk to management. If you are on management side, you talk to board. And if you are a head of department, you also establish why I should take this initiative and why I should not take. That's the point, module number 5. The 6th module talks about if tomorrow you want to do a business or you are investing, even forget about you own a business or you are in senior position in a company. Generally, it is applied to senior position of the company or the decision making of the company. But if you are doing an investment in a stock market, how to analyze any company that it is a ESG compliant, which are the factors, how you do it, what are the facts and figures you use it, those discussion we do it here. This is very good for the people who are into equity, but who are not, who are in the leadership position, who are also not, they can also understand and attach it. So this is what we cover. We cover the problems which are available for general people and try to address it through solution making. How we approach this? So these programs are practitioner programs. These are not theory programs. Okay, mostly case study. We will talk fact, figure, and case study. Okay, theory, of course, will be given to you through form of books, etc. But our approach is hands-on application. So we will discuss the case, and sometime we will engage you as well. 20% theory is required. So 6th standard, 7th standard basics. If you have normal maths calculation, we will be able to capture this topic in total. So rather than learning later, you can learn now. So build a business with us. Recorded video will be made available of these 2-day programs. So later on also you can refer through to YouTube videos. Now, if you take a decision today to join our program or continue with us on 25th and 26th, we are adding high value bonuses. So of course, these modules will be covered in total. You will be totally inside ESG parameters. But to make 100% guarantee, we are giving 8 bonuses today. Okay, it's a part of our previous program. Of course, in the Diwali, we have given this offer. We are continuing that for today as well. So if you join today, you will get a special discount on our pricing. Yeah, this program we generally run for 14,000 rupees. Okay, in India term. In international term, it's in $350. That's our actual price. But today you will get a massive discount and you won't believe and your mind will be blown, which is, of course, our Diwali bonus program, which we are still continuing. The scholarship for first 3 candidate is also available. That's why you get the lowest program. Of course, this is filled. The reading material and guides are available. So today we will offer you some books as well as a part of the same program. This will be free. Of course, it will be made available on 25th and 26th. When you are referring our program, you can use those books. And later on also you can read. It's an ebook. More than 20 case study will be discussed in 2 days' time. And a practitioner held book on selected modules, which are these 3 books, which will be made available. It's a totally illustrative book, basic books. To give you a clarity on ESG, you can refer anytime. So to accelerate this and to make your decision, we are offering this as well. Okay. My team member will put a code in the chat box, which you can use and enroll our program. Okay, the form and the payment cycle. Now, what people are talking about it. So we have several people on our YouTube. You can go and check their interviews. Most of them are senior level, and also some of them are equity analysts and etc. who are in equity market. They have 5 years, 3 years of experience. And go and check their responses. The major response which you will get there, that this program is totally structured and for senior people, helping them to make decision in consideration of ESG. So even though your company is not following, you make them aware and you take a decision which is more robust. That's the differentiator our program offers, because we talk from that point of view. So as I told you, this program original cost is $14,900, approximately $200 for international participants. And we have only 5 seats, which is only available today. After this, we are not running any free awareness program. We are directly having this on 25th. Generally, we offer at 9,900. Most of the time, when the discounts are applicable, this is the price we offer at 9,900. If you compare to our competitor also, they are offering at this price. Because we are giving you a premium product, it is coming directly from the practitioner side. We are charging 14,900. But this is not the price which you need to pay today if you enroll. Okay. 5,900 is most of our participants have joined at. Okay. Most of the participants who are there in the group, of course, not the Diwali time, they got the lowest possible, which I am continuing. Of course, little bit of search pricing is there. This is the price. Okay. This is the price with the 8 bonuses, which we have said. 3 books will be free, recording of video will be available, and personal guidance will be there. Okay. Now, you can use the form, you can fill the form and pay on our QR code. If you are interested, you need to pay just 3,100. Of course, the price of 9,000 we are not charging, we are charging 3,100. But what we will do while people are paying and joining the course, we will continue with the question answer session. So this is the last slide, 3,500. Let's have your question. So now just raise your hand if you have any question about anything. I'm happy to answer. Okay. Anybody has any question, please go ahead, and this is the time you can ask the question. And you can, of course, if you are applying to enroll, just 5 seats we have, please go ahead, enroll, and get benefited from a certificate which is recognized. And we also give an international certification pathway. So if you want, we will get you through CFA, ESG, or GARP. If you are in risk, we can take you through GARP. That certificate also will be made available. If you are interested, you can join that pathway as well. Okay. A lot of our participant has taken that pathway as well, that they do not only want the local certification, they also want to get an international certification. That's a different discussion. We'll have it on 26th. Okay. If you want, you can join it now. If you have any question, please go ahead, use, raise your hand, and I'm happy to unmute you. And before we go there, let me ask few people, how do they feel about this program? So let me take Akhilesh ji, if you are in position to speak up, please tell us that what is your experience? How do you find this program? And of course,
I find it very interesting. Can you hear me?
Yes, Akhilesh ji, thank you very much for joining and welcome. Welcome on the group.
And just for the records, I had joined your Diwali session and I'm joining it second time.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And that's why you joined the program, and we really appreciate it.
Just to once again enjoy the presentation that was done.
Absolutely. My pleasure,
I
sir.
liked very much, and I have asked my son also on the 25th and 26th. Not only me, my son also is joining your program.
Awesome. Awesome. Good to note that. Thank you very much, Akhilesh ji, and welcome to the program. Yeah.
But I have not received those books which you had promised.
Yeah. 25th will be the day when you will receive. I think one book has already been sent to you right away. Of course, it must have sent to you by now. And
I will talk to Mr. Sandeep. So far, I have not got anything.
Okay.
So,
I will.
But my request is, if the reading material is available beforehand, then we can read and come prepared, and we can better understand what you are talking.
Absolutely. That is why we will make it available on 24th, not on 25th. If I said 24th.
May not be. See, please understand. I'm also an advisor to a company. My son is working for a multinational company in Bangalore. We are busy. So on 24th, we may not be able to give time.
Fair. So
I
will speak with Sandeep, and Sandeep will make it available.
What is stopping you to give it tomorrow, maybe, so that we have ample time to read and digest and be available?
Fair. Let me discuss with my team members how soon they can release these books for you, and we will do it for sure. For sure.
Thank you, Shri.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate. So he has joined our program. I appreciate that, Akhilesh ji. Anybody else who wants to contribute? How did they like? Meera Prasad ji, would you mind opening your camera? And
Okay, तो but no doubt ये इकोनॉमिकल लॉ है और इकोनॉमिकल लॉ होने की वजह से कंटिन्यूअस जो है
Hello. Am I audible, Meera Prasad ji? Hello. Okay. So I think I'm not audible. You are muted. Oh, Santosh Mistry ji is there. Thank you, Santosh Mistry ji, for joining our program. I appreciate that. Are you in position to speak up? Hello.
Am I audible, sir?
Sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Santosh Mistry. I can hear you.
Okay.
But your voice is.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
You are very much audible. You are very much audible. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Am I
please.
audible?
Yes, you are audible, Santosh ji. Now you are audible. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think I have attended last session and I have already enrolled this 2026
Congratulations, sir.
engineer and PMP professional Six Sigma Black Belt working in the sustainability